when we look back and every time we make a little mistake, every time we lose, every time we don't succeed, our little daddies and our little mommies take care of us. And they do that enough times, we grow up to be losers. And whether we stay a loser or not is dependent on our knowledge and our application. Why? It took you this much effort to be a loser. So that means you have effort. No one can sit there and wait for the whole planet for years and years to do something for their life. Okay, there's a few people. Okay, I'll take it back. Okay, no one can sit there their whole life and wait for the planet to take care of them. That's effort. You know why that's effort? You see everybody moving up. You see everybody succeeding. You see everybody getting better. You see people moving to a next level. You see people with bigger cars. You see people with nicer bodies, nicer houses, beautiful wives, beautiful husbands. And they have nice pets. And everything, they're moving up. So to sit in the middle of everybody moving up in all this materialism and not have anything and not push yourself to anything, that's a lot of effort. It is a lot of effort. People think it's effortless. It's not. It's a lot of effort to remain a loser. My point? For losers, and that's how I overcame myself. For losers, you don't think you don't have effort. You do have effort. It's just that you don't recognize where you've been dispersing your effort. So for losers to stay around, do nothing, not finish their work, not dot their I's and cross their T's, wait for people to rescue them, and just sit there, poor me look, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work. If we go on the streets and we see homeless people, there are a few that's sincere, but there are some that are not. It takes a lot of effort to go out there because pride, ego, face, people looking at you, spitting on you, looking down on you. For a few dollars here and there, it's a lot of effort to stay there to maintain that facade. So people who are losers, it takes a lot of effort to remain a loser. So my point, to insult losers? No. My point is to recognize the fact how our mind plays tricks on us. We have effort. We have effort. So if we recognize we have effort, we go, oh yeah. We turn that around and we apply it to something else. We can be an excellent winner just as we are an excellent loser because we have an effort. But the secret is not keeping quiet about the wrongs we have done. And in psychology, isn't that exactly what they teach you? In psychology, when you go for therapy, don't they make you open up and talk about what you did wrong? And once you face yourself, everybody else becomes easier. Because once you face yourself and come to terms with yourself, everybody else is much easier. I'll tell you why. You live with yourself 24 hours a day. You don't live with others 24 hours. So to face them sometimes it's easy. You can avoid them, turn them off, throw their picture out, not go to parties where they are. It's easy. But yourself, you can't turn yourself off. You can't avoid yourself. You can't get away from yourself. You can't run away from yourself. Therefore, to face yourself and to confess your wrong, first to yourself and to acknowledge, and then confess to someone that can make a difference in your life. A psychologist, a teacher, your parents, a close friend, a mentor, is the next step to healing. What kind of healing? To get out of your habit. To keep quiet about, and if you make mistakes, you keep quiet and hope people don't notice. Yeah, there are people out there who will notice. They won't notice. But you notice because you're with yourself. So if you keep quiet about your own mistakes, it will get bigger. It will get stronger. Don't talk about karma. Don't talk about karma. Just talk about psychology. It will get bigger. Similarly, if you grew up with a lot of anger like I did, I had a lot of anger in my life when I was a child. My mother, with respect to her, please do not think I'm putting her down. I am not. Was filled with anger. She went through World War II. She suffered poverty. She suffered upheaval of her home twice. She had to be an immigrant twice. She was uneducated. She had to struggle and work for factories her whole life. She worked very hard. She was a very, very intelligent lady and quite kind, but she suffered quite a lot. She's passed away last year. So my point is, she had a lot of anger, and I knew why. I found out later that she had a lot of anger is because she had a lot of rejection when she was a child. She had a lot of pain. She would walk out of her house and there would be soldiers' corpses all over the roads. And she would be made to go out to find food for the family. They didn't beat her. And it was a very scary experience. She had to become very hard and very cold to go through walking. I mean, imagine a young girl, pretty, innocent, pure, going through all these corpses and dead people and stealing bread, stealing food, becoming hard. And then people putting her down, soldiers catching her. People spitting on her. She was also in a concentration camp when she was very young in Germany. What the Jewish people experienced, she experienced too in a concentration camp. I found that out all later. So my point is, that's what made her very angry and hard. So I took on some of her characteristics, and I'll tell you why. Because she was my example. I actually respected her very much. I used to make things in school for her and give it to her all the time because I like her a lot. She wasn't my real mother, my adopted mother. And so what happened was, when she was angry at someone, at that moment when she became angry, she didn't see anything else. Nothing else. And she would ignore the person. My mother would avoid and ignore the person for weeks and months. I heard before she died, she was ignoring some of our relatives for 1 year. She went to their wedding. She was upset about some small thing. She threw a huge BF. And she left the wedding. Upsetted the whole relatives, the crowd, hundreds of people. And she just went stomping home because she wanted you to go and beg her. Come back. Don't go. Nobody would do that. Everybody got tired of it. And she ignored that side of the family, which was her own younger sister and her nieces, for 1 year. And the year after that, she passed away. I heard that from my relatives, my step-relatives in America. My point is, she lived like that for many, many, many years. And I learned that. You know what I learned? When I'm angry with someone, ignore them. Don't talk to them. Don't look at them. Don't talk to them. And wait for them to come to me first. I learned that from my mother. And I did that in America for many years. Not on an extreme level, not on an evil level. To certain people that really got on my nerves, and there was a few. You see, wherever I go, I attract all kinds of weirdos and freaks and people. All types, wherever I go. The weirdos, the freaks, the leftovers, the losers, all these weirdos. I never get nice people or normal people. I don't know what normal means. I usually get the freaks. Always, I'm not kidding. All the deranged, all the ones that didn't fit anywhere else. It's like a shelter. And I attracted that my whole life, wherever I went. It's not a joke. You see some of them, the motley crew of friends I've had in America. Well, some have visited me. So, you've seen them. I'm not putting them down. They're people, and they're beautiful too. What I'm saying is you attract what you send out. So, I can point at myself. But I did that for years. I ignored people. I avoided people. Some people I ignore for 6 months and a year. And then later, when I thought about it, when I attended Dharma class with Geshe-la, Geshe Tsuram Gelton in Los Angeles, because I lived at the center, I realized I was doing exactly what my mother was doing to me and other people. And so, I wasn't healed. You know why I wasn't healed? Because I was blaming her. Then I would tell people it's her fault. That's what she trained me. That's what she taught me. That's what she said. That's what she did. That's all I knew. And then when I learned Dharma more, I went on to the next level. You see, if you do Western psychotherapy, you rest right there. It's your mother's fault. She treated you like that, and you stop. You don't go the next level. In Buddhism, you go the next level. You say like this: there are so many mothers and fathers on this planet. Why did I take rebirth with that parent? Why? So, in that Buddhist theory, you go back to cause and effect, which is you, myself, yourself, created the karma to be born in this kind of environment to experience this type of experience. So therefore, I go back to saying that if you're born with a lot of wealth, you're born with an easy life and golden things put on the platter for you and everything's spoon-fed to you and everything's very easy. If you end up a loser, you can see that born into wealth was very bad karma, is a result of bad karma. Bad karma do not have wrong perception. Bad karma is not living on the streets or not having anything or coming across with no parents or orphans or not having money when you're growing up. Because we read a lot of success stories where people were literally on the streets begging. And they had no parents, or they were refugees of a war, or they were maimed, or they didn't have arms or legs. We read a lot of cases like that. We also read a lot of cases of very successful people who come from very successful families, and they have a heritage of success in their families. We read that. And then we read about people who come from very successful families. The kids are losers, druggies, losers, lazy, waste their life, get fat, dumb, happy. And they just use their parents. They leech their parents. And then we hear about people who were born on the streets, and they were born of parents who were poor and impoverished. And they also grow up like that, and they live their lives impoverished. Yes. So what am I trying to say to you? Karma is not what you were born into, rich or poor, good or bad. It's the result that wealth or that poverty plays in your life. In some people's life, the poverty and the difficulties they went through as a child made them very strong as an adult and powerful as an adult and become very great examples of human beings when they grow up because of the pain they experienced when they were a child. Some people grow up to continue the pain they have experienced to create pain for others. So some people, that negative experience of living on the street is positive karma. They prayed for it. They pray for a situation where they can be born in a difficult situation where it will train their mind up and accelerate their spiritual progress. Accelerate their spiritual progress.
令他们的修行的这个进度有所增长。
Thank you. Accelerate their spiritual practice. So for some people to be born on the streets in difficult situations, they prayed for it. And they were born into it on purpose. And in fact, some of them were born into very difficult situations so that when they grow up and other people hear about it, it will inspire millions of people. Millions. So for them to be born in such an ugly, nasty, disgusting situation, for us, we're like you. But for them, they grow up to be superhumans. Superhumans. His Holiness, the 14th Dalai Lama, the greatest scholar and monk of this planet at this time, was born to simple farmers. The father never showed much respect to him, didn't even know what a High Lama or anything is, although he's Tibetan, quite, kampong. But look at His Holiness. Then you have sons and daughters that are born of aristocratic families in Tibet. Once they lost their country, their privilege, their status, their name, they come out there, they can't even farm their land. I've seen some of them. They call themselves nobility now as refugees, but nobody respects them because they don't do anything with themselves. So, some people are born into tremendous wealth. Their mothers and fathers are living zambalas. And they give their children everything because their parents love them so much. But that is the result. If they grow up to continue the legacy of their parents' success and kindness and become successful people, you can consider that good karma. But if they grow up to be losers, scared of the world, very naive, unable to stand on their own, it's not their parents' fault. It is the fault of the child to be born in such a situation where it doesn't ever challenge them. And there are some people born into very wealthy situations, and they turn around and they use that wealth to benefit others. They use their name, they use their status, they use their position to benefit others. Again and again and again and again.